Once we have a context in mind, the next thing we care about is the expert persona, a specific role or expertise taken on to address the prompt. Example, nutritionist, software engineer, historian. So you can ask ChatGPT to take a specific role and answer in that specific sense. So for instance, if you remember that we asked ChatGPT to tell us about black holes as a technical and scientific tone, and then we asked it to explain it to us as a 5-year-old. We can go back and ask ChatGPT to explain it to us in various different ways. For instance, I can say explain it the concept of black hole as a physicist, as a rocket scientist, or I can say explain it to an undergrad student as a professor teaching undergrad students, or I can go back and say 5-year-old, and the answer will change based on what I'm asking it to do. So for example, if I'm working on my resume to get new jobs, apply for new jobs, then I will ask ChatGPT that you are an expert as a resume writer and consultant. So now I'm going to provide you some information about my resume. Can you please provide feedback accordingly? And it will do the job. So whatever task you have in mind, first think about who is the expert in that domain that you want ChatGPT to take the role of. Assign it a role. It's really important. Once you have the context, assign it a role. And if you want some ideas of what kind of roles ChatGPT can take and what sort of wordings or prompts you can input to get that role out, I have provided a link to a specific GitHub repository that was released actually pretty early when GPT was launched, and this provides a list of expert personas that we can work with. So act as a Linux terminal, as an English translator and improver. Let's look at this one. I want you to act as an English translator, spelling corrector and improver. I will speak to you in any language and you will detect the language, translate it and answer in the corrected and improved version of my text in English. I want you to replace my simplified A0 level words, sentences with more beautiful and elegant upper level English words and sentences. Keep the meaning same, but make them more literary. I want you to only reply the correction, the improvement, and nothing else. Do not write explanations. My first sentence is this. So I'll copy this just for us to give it a try and see how good the prompt can be. But there are more examples on the page that I would highly recommend you to explore and practice on your own time. And trust me, practice makes you perfect. The more you practice with prompting, the better understanding you will get of how these large language models behave and what sort of output you can generate through them. So give it a try and practice some of these out. You have JavaScript, Excel sheets, English pronunciation, spoken English, travel guide, plagiarism checker. If I keep going down the list, it's going to be a huge list with a lot of different personas that you can assign ChatGPT, life coach, etymologist. So anything that you're working with, the first thought you should get is, what is the expert that I would want to ask the opinion on this task, and whatever that domain expertise are, assign GPT that role before you start doing the task. Now let's go and try out the English prompt. And instead of writing something in a different language, I'm just going to write a very slang in English. Yo, how is it goings? All goods. I am fine. Wait for me till I arrives. And let's see how ChatGPT interprets this and updates this. How are you faring? Everything in good order? I'm fine. Kindly await my arrival. So it went in and changed my slang high school teen style English into upper level English words and sentences, exactly the way I wanted it to do. I can try the same thing with Bard. Let's reset history so there is nothing carrying out from the previous one, and I provide the same prompt, and I'm hopeful Bard will do a significantly good job in doing this. Sure, I can help you with that. Here is the corrected and improved version. How are you doing? Everything is well with me. I'm fine. Please wait for me until I arrive. I replaced you, and so what Bard does it explains. Although keep the meaning same, but make them literally. I want you to only reply the correction, the improvements, and nothing else. Do not write any explanations. Bard did not take this instruction relatively well into account, and it did wrote an explanation of what I was asking it. Plus the language that it provided is good grammatical English, but it's not flared up on a high level English. Versus if you even compare the output with that of 3.5, how are you faring? Everything in good order? Kindly await my arrival. This is slightly upscale English versus the answer that we got from Bard, and we specifically asked GPT to give us upscaled answers. This could be a really good prompt for writing emails for professional work. So you can update this prompt slightly to make sure that it's professional, and it will write very upscale or very grammatically correct, full of good punctuation and good vocabulary English that you can actually use in your professional life and when you're writing emails or for your sales emails. So definitely something to further look into.